It's been a goal-filled weekend of Isuzu UTE A-League men's and Perth Glory against Auckland FC at a warm HBF Park. We'll be hoping to continue the fun. It's going to be a massive match tonight with top of the league back on offer to Auckland due to results elsewhere this weekend. However, George the Glory Gorilla is leaping into the action and hoping the home side can repeat exactly what they did in January of 2025. And that was win 1-0 against the Isuzu UTE A-League's newest club. Here are the two teams lining up on the Isuzu UTE tunnel cam. Sam Cosgrove having his customary drink of a pre-game sugar hit. And you see there Ollie Sale, the former Perth Glory goalkeeper, saying hello to his replacement, Matt Sutton. So it's friendly now, but expect things to become very competitive given what's at stake. It's only the third meeting between these two teams, and it's been 1-0 to the home team each time. Good evening to everyone watching from New Zealand, because it's 1:45 at kickoff, and it's going to be a very late one. So adjusting those body clocks for the Auckland players has one season's experience travelling out to the West helped them acclimatise for the challenge this time around. The Statos certainly love Auckland tonight, but maybe that's not factoring in both the heat and the travel. Never mind the time difference and acclimatisation. Perth Glory with a win tonight would move above the Wellington Phoenix into 9th place. They would be only 2 points outside the top 6 if they can cash all 3 points tonight. So the Glory fans will certainly be a factor in this game at home, and they're about to warm up their hands as we pay tribute, as we will at every A-Leagues game this weekend, to the late Rado Vidosic.
Inspiring and empowering men's and women's players across our leagues for almost 2 decades. A premiership and championship winning coach, Rado's legacies fell well beyond the pitch. A friendly, kind-hearted and much-loved football person who worked tirelessly to improve players, coaches and staff around him. We join the wider football community in remembering Rado and extend our heartfelt thoughts and condolences to his family and loved ones. In recognition of his contribution to the game, we ask you, if you are able, to please stand for a moment of applause for Rado Vidosic. Thank you.
A fitting tribute being observed at every game for the late Rado Vidosic. Rest in peace. Let's look at the lineups. We start with the home team at Perth Glory. They make one change to the team defeated 1-0 away at Western Sydney Wanderers last Sunday. Will Freeney comes into the starting 11. It moves young midfielder Giovanni De Abreu to the bench. Lockie Wales has been restored to the subs. He could play for the first time since November, but it means no spot for Arian Suleimani in the matchday squad. Adam Taggart has drawn level with Andy Keogh as Perth Glory's top A-League era goal scorer. Auckland's one of the teams he has never scored against in the A-League. There aren't many. North Queensland Fury, but he never played against them. And also the New Zealand Knights, but he never played against them. He even managed to net against Gold Coast United in a very limited window. Can he tick Auckland off the list? Let's take a look at Auckland now. 2 changes, and they are big ones. Ollie Sale comes in between the sticks, moving Michael Vowd to the bench, and Hiroki Sakai is back for the first time since January the 16th after aggravating a hamstring injury. Marley Francois scored the only goal when these two teams met back in April, but he has dropped off the bench in order to accommodate the returning Sakai, and that has moved Jake Goodwood-Reich to the substitutes. And so Ollie Sale will make his Auckland FC debut in goal tonight. He is well known to Perth Glory, of course. In fact, his most recent A-League appearance was for the Glory, ironically away at Wellington back in May. He certainly had some troubled times between the sticks, and in the second half, when he's standing in front of the shed, I'm sure there are some Glory fans with not too long memories. Adam Griffiths will be hoping to mastermind a win tonight. He's starting to get the full gamut of the experience of being an A-Leagues coach. Perth Glory with a few more losses than wins in their recent form, losing 3 of their last 4. And Steve Corica would no doubt be acutely aware of the results so far this weekend. Big wins for Newcastle and Sydney. They are the top two at kickoff, but a win by any margin will put Auckland outright top. Sean Evans is tonight's central referee. Assistants are Owen Goldrick and Arvin Shanmuganathan. And the fourth official is Liam Barclay. Should we need an extra set of eyes, Tim Danaskos and Daniel Elder are waiting in the VAR booth. So all in readiness for kick-off then. The home team has prevailed in the only previous two meetings in the Isuzu UTE A-League men's between Perth Glory and Auckland, and the away team has never scored. It's called the new distance derby. Well, can the away team tonight show the distance is no object as Auckland kick us off? So underway, and Auckland in the white, hoping to make it consecutive wins against the Glory. And as I welcome Phil Moss to the broadcast, Mossy, you are, of course, very well connected to the coaching community, and it's great to see tribute being paid to Rado Vidosic at every A-League men's and women's game this weekend. Yeah, it certainly is, Teo. Great to be alongside you as always. Rado was a special human being and a very, very special football man and a very successful coach. As assistant and head coach, of course, and I remember a story, 2011 grand final when I was assisting Graham Arnold. We lost the unlosable up there at Suncorp, that famous grand final, and the first thing he did at full time after celebrating with Andrew was give me a hug and say, Phil, don't worry, your time will come. So just showed how humble he was, empathetic and passionate. As we see the first long throw of the game, Brian Kaltak with an amazing vertical leap to clear. Nice to hear that story, Mossy, and good of Auckland to put the ball out for a long throw and set it all up so we had just enough time to hear it. But as we get into the action tonight, just how difficult is it going to be for Auckland? We were discussing how you adjust the body clock to the trip west and then tack on an extra 2 hours for the New Zealand time difference. Just how much of a challenge is this for Auckland tonight? It is a challenge, there's no doubt about it, and Auckland have probably got a tougher one than the Eastern Seaboard teams in the A-League on Australian shores because of the time difference, and as you said in the opening, it's 11:45 or 10:12 back home, so it does impact your performance. There's no doubt about that. You've got to be really mentally strong to overcome it, but they've got the chance to go top of the league again and make a bit of a statement tonight after Newcastle and Sydney FC's performances and results earlier today. So no doubt Steve Corica would have just dropped that in the pre-match motivation talk to make sure the players were primed for a good performance. Great to see the shed looking well stocked with fans. A bit of patchy form for the Glory recently, not dampening the enthusiasm for this team, having, generally speaking, a bit of a revival. It's been a scratchy 2 minutes to start this one, though. Neither team has come flying out of the blocks. Adam Griffiths still giving lots of positional instructions as the teams size each other up. Francis de Vries with the throw in. Effortlessly long throw. And headed away by Shardul Shamoon. So de Vries will walk himself up to the edge of the attacking third here. Sam Cosgrove with Brian Kaltak marking him tightly. Does de Vries look that far? No, he's going to go back to Louis Vestrada. And now de Vries frees his left foot, but that one is a bit of a loosener, and maybe loosener sums up the first 3 minutes, Mossy. Neither team has really come out breathing fire. No, that's right. A little bit inconsistent and disconnected in the first few moments, but no doubt both sets of players just getting used to the conditions, and it's been a warm day in the west. Of course, nice time of day to play now as the sun starts to set. But we always get action in these games, Teo, don't we? Especially when you and I are on the mic. Well, late night Perth. It's the latest possible night Perth, I guess you could say, for those watching over in New Zealand. And thank you for having a late one with us tonight. It's been a great gorge the last 2 days of A-League. So many goals. This one has to match the energy as we see Glory building here. Taggart with a touch out to the left, and Tom Lawrence. A couple of touches right against the paint of the line, and he couldn't keep the ball in. A rueful shake of the head that the assistant referee didn't see it the same way he did. Here's Lockie Brook, one of the form players in the competition this season. Centre of defence, Nando Pinecker, over to his centre-back partner in Dan Hall. Hall getting the hurry up here, and so just yields possession back to the Glory. Good bit of energy in the press. However, Hiroki Sakai with a steady header. Vestrada. Through comes Bozanovsky. Randall won the ball back for Auckland. And now they move. Brook. De Vries. And Freeney, the inclusion to the Glory 11 tonight, blocks the pass. Auckland just trying to up the ball speed, though. Fairly pedestrian first 3 minutes of the game, and they've said, all right, let's sharpen up, get into our stride. Here's their form line coming in. The surprise 2-2 draw at home against the Mariners. Melbourne City came from behind to beat them at Amy Park. They did win away at Suncorp, so they have had some good travelling stories this season.
Well, that draw you mentioned at home to the Mariners, there has been a casualty from that result, and that's the goalkeeper. Horrendous mistake at the end, and Ollie Sale gets his chance to play against his former club, or one of his former clubs.
So far, he's yet to have a touch. 5.5 minutes in. Well, De Vries played it straight to Freeney. Now the home fans find their voice and a bit of interest because they're back in possession here. Sam Sutton. Now Brian Kaltak. Of course, there are quite a few ex-Wellington connections in this Glory team, so the fans with a little bit of extra reason to cheer a bit harder for their side tonight. You see one of them here, Sam Sutton, recently passed 100 A-League games. Jesse Randall, big week for him. Signing a pre-contract agreement to go to Dundee United in Scotland. He'll be there for 2 seasons, all things going to plan, and he'll be joining up with a couple of A-League expats in Ryan Strain and also Zach Sapsford. Right now, though, his focus, like the rest of Auckland's, is on defending, and that is brilliantly done by Guillermo Mai, robbing Shamoon of the ball effortlessly and plays it over to Vestrada.
Who said strikers can't tackle? Brilliant work by Mai, just coming back to help his team out, win possession. You're not surprised that Jesse Randall's attracted overseas attention, Taya. He's been electrifying this season, hasn't he?
A compilation of his dribbling is the sort of thing that agents would salivate over getting to sell. And it's absolutely no surprise that there has been interest. But what about the mental side of making sure he still finishes the season strong for his current employers?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's no doubt something that will play on his mind. I mean, he's got some good mentors in the likes of Steve Corica, Danny Hay, Terry McFlynn, of course, who can help him manage that mindset. But ultimately, he's just got to stay focused on what actually got him the opportunity, which is playing well for his club week in, week out, playing freely.
A bit of energy there, trying to challenge Kaltak, but he sidestepped it comfortably enough. You see Matt Sutton here, namesake of his left back, able to stride out into the midfield.
Perth intent just to try and draw the Auckland press towards them to open up the spaces in midfield. As we've come to expect with Auckland, they're so well drilled defensively. They keep their lines quite compact.
Tagged with a little chip to the edge of the penalty area. Ostler, half-hearted shouts for handball. Pennington putting pressure on Hall, and the Glory will have an attacking half throw in. Nicholas Pennington having his best goal-scoring season. Another former Wellington player. Anything in the handball?
Well, you've seen them given, you've seen them not. It definitely did hit the arm of De Vries. No intent, of course.
So Glory still making the most of possession. Ostler. Now Mai. Vestrada and De Vries. Cosgrove, a couple of steps behind Kaltak here. Glory's recent form consecutive losses, including at home against the Brisbane Roar. In a game they led through Adam Taggart. They'll have to return to the winners list tonight. Themselves back in that top 6 conversation right now. Auckland looking up at a deep-lying defence. So instead of breaking in transition, it's really more take a bit of meterage on offer and then steady again. Pinecker down the line to no one in particular. De Vries apologising there, maybe for calling for the pass to begin with. Freeney and Wooden. Pennington being followed by Randall. Well, it's one thing we've come to get to know about the Glory in the last 6 games is that Giovanni Diabreu has been a bit of a stick of dynamite in that midfield. Not afraid of an early reducer, even if it does run the risk of an early card. Perth subdued to start this game, not quite as bombastic as when the 18-year-old midfielder has been in the starting 11 in recent weeks. Neat string of passes here, though, and Freeney guiding that one out to the wing. Can't quite link up with Sutton, but the whistle goes. And Hiroki Sakai, the Auckland captain, is protesting, but Sam Sutton applauding the referee's decision. And it's a free kick at the edge of the box.
It's a decent area, almost like a corner. Sakai thought that he got the ball, but I think there is contact. I think it's a fair enough decision. The referee, Sean Evans. Sakai, of course, back in the squad, back in the team tonight. Raised a few eyebrows with the amount of travel coming back from a hamstring injury for a senior player. I can tell you he's in very, very good hands with Elias Bookerham. Magic hands, as we used to call him at Sydney FC. One of the medical staff at Auckland FC.
So Sam Sutton's the left-footed option, but Tom Lawrence, the more likely set-piece taker. He strikes it low when it's cleared. Clipped back in, Wooden up and over. And for a tall centre-back, Scotland's goal-scoring record, 109 games, just the 3 goals, and hasn't scored since October of 2024. He belies his stature when it comes to getting forward and scoring headers.
Well, that's the type of header he'd be proud of at the other end of the field. As a defensive header, but certainly not in the attacking box. He used to get himself over that and get it down. I think he had every opportunity to do that.
There's a look at Michael Vowd sitting in the goalkeeper's kit on the Auckland bench. Jake Brimmer, former Perth Glory player, sitting next to him. Until it's 33 degrees, they're all very spaced out. Each other breathe. Not too encouraged at how the visiting team has started either. As De Vries back to Sale. Left-footed clearance is going to bend straight to Shamoon. And he gets his ankles tapped. Or does he? Yes, he does. My quick to apologise. And he's even taken the boot off the Glory defender.
Some would say that was worth maybe a closer look by the referee. I don't think there was any genuine malice in it, but he certainly clipped him high. Did Mai?
Oh, he's done his laces up so tight here, he's struggling to undo them to put his shoe back on here. Mossy, this is going to be one of those late night Perth questions. How tight did you tie up the laces on your boots?
Some would say I couldn't tie the laces of my teammates, but no, I always had them reasonably tight, to be honest.
Thumbs up to the bench. Adam Griffiths doesn't want his team delayed too long, and the ball is back live now. At the feet of Brian Kaltak and Rhys Bozanovsky.
Yeah, it certainly needs an injection, doesn't it? A little bit of intensity. A chance at one end or the other just to bring the game to life. It's been stuck in midfield a little bit, and along the back line of Perth Glory as they try and draw that Auckland press out. Auckland aren't really obliging. They're happy for Perth just to play in front of them or over them.
In this instance, over was the attempt. Second ball, Pennington does very nicely. Taggart turns and faces. And now Osler with a low cross and behind for a corner. And the change in speed was noticeable there.
Yeah, it was. And that's what Perth will have to look to do. If they can't play through those compact lines, they are going to have to go over the press or over the defensive block that Auckland is setting up. It's decent delivery into the area, and Pineacker had to readjust his body weight and shape just to make sure he got clean contact on that.
So Glory with the game's only 2 corners so far. Well, he's sprawled in the penalty area already. Pennington rose. Kaltak tried for an ambitious volley. And then Cosgrove cleared into his own man, but lucks of fortune with the deflection. Now Randall has picked the pocket of Shamoon, and then in trying to veer central, he put it right onto the chest of Freeney. So a bit of fortune at both ends of the pitch.
Freeney did well there. He had to stand big and tall and make sure that Jesse Randall didn't get the better of him with his trickery. He won that battle. Down the other end, gee, that could have gone anywhere from a Perth Glory perspective, including the back of the Auckland net. That is now Perth Glory's 60th corner for the season. They've only scored once, so it's not something they do with regularity.
With the leap of Brian Kaltak there, I think that, again, he might be a candidate to win more headers, but on that occasion he was going for the spectacular volley. We've got another player with shoe issues here. This time it's Louis Vestrada who's doing up his laces. And during this delay, gives us a chance to say good evening. Well, before we go to Jacob Burns, we're going to look at this pile up here. Talk us through it, Mossy.
Yeah, well, you can see there, and Kaltak almost does very well. He had to get himself off the ground to get the volley down. In the end, there was too many Auckland bodies around, but it'd be great to hear the thoughts of Burnsy.
Jacob Burns, former Socceroo, good evening. How's the heat, and how do you think it's affecting the game?
Evening, boys. Yes, it's well, it's starting to cool down here, and it's the game's starting to settle as well. It's been certainly a cagey affair. Obviously, both teams playing for different reasons. So I don't know if that's affected the caginess to the start. Obviously, Bimby would have had that in his team talk, as Mossy mentioned, going to top spot, but also likely for Griff and the Perth Glory guys staying in touch with that top 6. So they it's becoming a little bit of a feature here at home for Glory, where they're quite happy to give up possession and quickly counter through their midfield, through Botanovsky and the talent of Lawrence and Taggy up front. They're always a threat when they soak up that pressure and then break quickly, and we've seen that on a couple of occasions. But like Mossy said, it's the game needs an opportunity on goal.
We'll keep checking in with you, Burnsy, but for now, it's Sutton with an outswinger and a header on target. Scott Wooden has now had 2 headers in the penalty area. One went high, the other one was held by his former teammate Ollie Sale.
Yeah, decent chance. Didn't get enough, wasn't able to get enough power on it to really trouble Ollie Sale. It's interesting what Burnsy was saying about Perth winning the ball and trying to transition quickly through the likes of Bozanovsky. You just wonder how effective that'll be today when Auckland do hold such compact lines. We saw before when they were compact and Perth went over the top, that's where they got their opportunity. So it might be a more direct route this afternoon.
Giveaway here, Shamoon seizing on the ball. Ostler, we've seen him drive a couple of low crosses so far in the game, but he's going to have to go and retrieve the ball here. Good pressure from Brooke. Kaltak. Ostler, well, he's got his goalkeeper chasing, and thank goodness for the Glory, that was off target. Otherwise, Matt Sutton and Trent Ostler would have gone around the world for all the wrong reasons.
Well, it's not the opportunity on goal that we thought we were going to see to get this game going, but Ostler really put some juice behind that, and he caught his goalkeeper off his line. Sutton was in the right position as a sweeper keeper. Certainly wasn't expecting that from his defender.
How about how it accelerated off the turf and just kept running away from him, though. Anyway, it was off target. It means that the damage is only a corner, but it is Auckland's first of the game. Matt Sutton organising his defence as Jesse Randall steps out his runner. Can Auckland make the most of a gift? Randall's corner, high beyond the far post. Peinecker, and up and under, falling off balance and not able to keep the ball in.
Well, I mentioned Perth Glory had 1 goal from 60 corners. Auckland now have had 71 corners this season and scored 1 goal, so they may break the trend this evening, you never know. But it's certainly not likely from either side. They haven't got form on the board when it comes from scoring from corners.
Just a wall of purple behind that goal at the left of the screen. Peinecker's header breaks into midfield. Mai. A little bit of time. Gallegos. He turns and goes back to Peinecker, and now Dan Hall. 20 minutes ticked by. Scoreless. Chances starting to arrive for both teams, though. De Vries. Mai turned right into trouble. Freeney with a block tackle. Shamoon not able to spot up Pennington. Overhit the pass. Sakai to Brook. Brook wants his left foot. Trying to play the killer pass for Cosgrove, but that one sliding onto the goalkeeper. So just the 1 shot on target so far. And it was comfortably held by Ollie Sale. Bozanovsky, passing avenue blocked by Vestrada. Something that he's so good at. Closing the gaps in midfield. Now Sutton looking for a gap of his own. Pennington provided the outlet. Freeney. Sam Sutton, no choice but to go back to his keeper. And Caltac. De Vries. Back to Caltac. He had a grunt from Gallegos there as he was knocked over from the back. No time to dwell on it because the free kick was taken in the blink of an eye. Randall. Yet to see him really run at the defenders tonight. So it's stationary there. Brooks pass. Brought down by Mai. Quick to turn. And Cosgrove was in a good position for the striker, but the ball was steered towards the keeper instead.
Yeah, I don't think Mai got the direction or the power on that delivery into the area for Cosgrove that he was looking for. The run was good. The first touch was good. It was the second touch that let him down.
It's going to slide off heads and comfortably fielded by Ollie Sale. Just a smattering of boos. Wait till the second half, though, Mossy. I think when the coin toss came through, Ollie Sale would have just had a little sigh of relief that he gets 45 minutes grace to get into the game before he has to go and stand in front of the shed and hear it from his old fan base.
Suggesting he might put some earplugs in at half-time.
Now here is where Randall can potentially go through the gears. He decides to slow down instead. Rather than charge at 2 defenders, Vestrada. Little drag touch there was clever. Has he been able to turn it into a corner? No. Just a mishit cross, no deflection.
Gee, the first and second touches were fantastic. It's the third touch where he let himself down. He just sliced it off the outside of the boot. The Auckland supporters, no doubt, will be looking for that man there, Jesse Randall, to get on the ball more in one-on-one situations. It's been so lively this season, Jesse Randall. So much good that Auckland have done going forward is coming through him.
A bit of a ponderous touch from Peinecker there. Gave the ball straight to Ostler. Now Shamoon over the head of Taggart. Pennington arriving late. Too late to keep the attack alive. However, Randall's volley around the corner was seized upon immediately by Bozanovski. Here's Wooten. Matt Sutton well out of his penalty area. Caltac with Guillermo Mai pressing him all the way there, but ultimately the Glory have found a player in space to assess the options. Now Caltac himself is free. His pass anticipated very cleverly by Lockie Brook there, and he wins his team a throw-in as well. Now, Nando Peinecker has just taken a seat here. Do we have an injury concern for Steve Corica and the Auckland bench? Doesn't appear. Well, is it a groin or an adductor? That's a concern here, and the physio will go out and assess. And look at this, a change of boots coming for Louis Vestrada. So just goes to show you can warm up out there, but as soon as you start playing at match tempo, things can change drastically.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. It looked like he had some aluminium studs on, as we see on Peinecker's boots as well. It is quite a firm surface in Perth. Sometimes it can be a bit deceiving when you go out there and warm up and the surface is a bit damp, a bit wet. You think you need longer studs, but you don't actually need them.
Well, let's check in with Jacob Burns. Jacob, have Auckland sent all their subs to go on a warm-up? We're in a cooling break, so it conveniently means that Nando Peinecker will get a little bit more of a grace period here, but how do you assess the situation right now?
Yeah, the physio indicated over just to hold off for a moment, so he could be all right. They are all warming up. They've got all the guys ready to go with this drinks break. Interestingly, sitting closer to the Glory bench, Griffo's message to them is to calm down and not rush things. He feels as though that when they're gaining possession of the ball, they're trying to go too quickly through the lines and can have a little bit more patience in their build-up and pick the right pass going forward.
Thank you to Jacob Burns. So there's the Glory bench tonight. But the like-for-like sub available to Auckland, should they need to, is Jake Girdwood-Reich. So it's not like they're... Well, in fact, Jake Girdwood-Reich appears to be limbering up next to the fourth official. So this is not good news. An injury concern for Auckland. Whether or not it's precautionary or something that is going to have a medium-term impact, we will have to wait and see. But Nando Peinecker leaves the game just over a quarter of the way through the night's action. And Jake Girdwood-Reich, the former Sydney FC player, comes on for A-League appearance number 54. So the visitors have to burn an early sub.
Yeah, that's not good news for Auckland. That wouldn't have been part of the game plan. That's for sure and certain, but Girdwood-Reich has got enough experience to be able to step in and do the job for Steve Corica. Let's hope for Nando Peinecker's sake that it's not anything too serious. You can lose power very quickly if it's groin, adductor, hamstring, calf. Those things you generally know as a player as soon as you feel it, whether it's going to force you off or not.
So potential long throw, potential introduction for Jake Girdwood-Reich in an aerial sense here. Can he join the contest under the hurl of De Vries, and it's going to be take two because our referee Sean Evans just wanted to do some yakking here. English centre forward versus centre back battle between Cosgrove and Wooten. I suspect that Matt Sutton's also getting a bit of a telling off here as well. Interestingly, at the corners it was Caltac who was standing next to Cosgrove, but it looks as though Wooten is going to be his marker here at the long throw. So after much anticipation and a trial run from De Vries, it's a short throw in the end, and Perth Glory immediately win possession back. Quite the anti-climax in the end.
Isn't it always the way?
We've had a quick word to the replay booth just to see if there was a phase of play where Nando Peinecker started favouring what looked like his left groin, but no, he just You know your body as a pro, don't you, Mossy? And as soon as he felt as though it wasn't good, he decided to take a seat.
Yeah, that's right. And it's smart too. It's not the stage of the season where you need to be taking risks. With the travel that they've got to get home and the games ahead.
Tom Lawrence getting into a bit of a dialogue with the referee. It hasn't been his night so far. You know that he can create magic out of thin air and has done for his run of goal scoring in the A-League so far.
Well, it's been a frustrating night, hasn't it, for both sets of attacking players. There's been no fluency yet. Neither side has really settled into a rhythm, strung together their passes and been able to build some patterns of play in the attacking half.
Really energetic defending from Kaltak to take the ball away from Mai. And now Bozanovsky trying to thread the eye of the needle for Taggart, though. And you see here Hiroki Sakai coming across from the right side of defence and winning a throw-in on the left flank, as he would see it. It does give Glory the chance to really press numbers up and try to trap Auckland in. Francis de Vries taking this throw, and as you can see, within earshot of Steve Corica. A long throw down the line. Cosgrove. Very clever use of the body, and now a long ball. Randall's going to make it interesting here for the Sutton combo. But Matt finds Sam, and the Glory find the feet of Nick Pennington. Sam Sutton nearly back to Pennington. Brooke. Estrada. Hall plays it to Estrada. Taggart sees the chance to go, and just a little nudge into the back of Dan Hall, and that was too much for Sean Evans, and a free kick is given. Here's a look at how Auckland are very much favouring Jesse Randall's side of the pitch. 50% of their attacks going down his right side.
Yeah, no surprises there, and there's been a couple of times where Kermo Mai has made inroads in the inside right position, if you like. There's some darting runs in and around the area. It's still nothing at either end that's really tested either goalkeeper as we tick over the half-an-hour mark. I spoke to Griff during the week too. Lockie Wales back on the bench this evening. It was a pretty severe hamstring injury that he suffered. 10 weeks or so he was out. He's been training with the main squad, full sessions for the last 2 weeks, just building his fitness up. So Griff delighted to have him back in the squad tonight. He could be a weapon off the bench.
Among quite a few. Jaden Kucharski, Seb Despotovsky and Stefan Kolikovsky. But right now, the starting 11 might be able to create a chance as Taggart slices the ball out. And for a player who often has to feed off barely the whiff of a chance, that was an uncharacteristic miss.
Oh, he'd be disappointed, Adam Taggart, because he used his body so well to get rid of the attentions of Dan Hall. But again, it's that long ball over the top from Perth Glory that's caused Auckland some issues. Adam Taggart, we know how sharp he is in and around those areas. Really fashioned the chance by using his body oh so well.
As you can see, absolutely no urgency to take this throw in for Auckland. Goalkeeper held the ball that long in the penalty area, the referee might pay a corner under the new FIFA laws, but Auckland just looking a little short of inspiration. They take an attacking half throw-in all the way back to their goalkeeper. Vestrada has his pocket picked. Freeney, and then Vestrada just able to interrupt him. Gallegos to come back through. Hall. There's the XG. Auckland at 0.00.
Well, sometimes statistics don't lie, and we really haven't created anything yet, but no doubt Steve Corica will have said to his players, be patient, our chances will come. You don't have to rush things. It is a marathon, not a sprint. And you come into Perth and have to deal with the time difference and all the logistics around it.
Pennington running at a bouncing ball. Hall left up, and the offside flag has its save for the first time tonight.
Having said that, I'm sure he wouldn't have wanted to see an expected goal of 0.00 after 35 minutes.
Yeah, there's patient, and then there's maybe too polite. 10 minutes to go in the first half. 1 minute to Auckland hit go with a little burst before half-time. Cosgrove. Trying to bring a bouncing ball under control, just volleys it on instead. Still awkward to deal with, and Shamoon eventually gets some separation from Lockie Brook and puts the ball out for a throw-in. The firmness of the surface is a factor. It does seem as though if players allow the ball to bounce, it can catch them out. Here's De Vries. Brook, a couple of very cultured left-footers, and that attempted cross is blocked out. They go to work immediately again. Vestrada around the corner. Brook. Legal challenge coming through from Bozanovski, and that isn't going to start a rapid counter because Pennington leaves the ball with Freeney. Now Lawrence. Lawrence is going to go for a bending cross, but it didn't have the bend to twist back towards Pennington.
Oh, he looked up as soon as he received the ball, and he thought Adam Taggart was taking off on a forward run. In the end, Taggart sort of checked off, maybe looking for it to feet. Lawrence had already made his decision to play it in behind.
Well, watch this space. Sakai, his recent concerns have been a hamstring. He was just favouring his Achilles or the back of his calf there. He's walking it off. Steve Corica got his poker face on the sideline. Danny Hay does not have his poker face on, however. He's looking to bring a bit more energy. Cosgrove. Randall, surrounded by defenders, still moving the ball onto Vestrada. Now Mai. Oh, twisted back into trouble. Freeney thought Mai had beaten him. Instead, he got the ball back, and now Taggart with a neat little sidestep of his own. Into open space goes Ostler. He's got De Vries looking at him. Taggart at the edge of the box. Trent Ostler again. Shamoon. Forward run from the wing back, but not able to position the body in a way that could flick it on target.
Well, it's the best action of the game so far. No surprises that it was created through midfield by Adam Taggart, dropping off the front line, driving at the Auckland defence, and bringing Ostler into the game.
Now this is textbook Jesse Randall. He stopped at his tracks, cuts it back. Mai, big swing at the ball, but didn't catch it how he would hope before Bozanovski blocked it away. That was such a good crossfield pass from De Vries to pick out Randall as well. Got him in stride. Here's Lawrence, so he's played it into the prone man, and Gallegos. The players untangled themselves. Sakai, Cosgrove, Randall, and now Vestrada. Switches over to De Vries. Lockie Brook. There's been a step up in intent here from Auckland there. Starting to really surge. Caltack, a great leap at a really strong header. And the referee was whistle in the mouth, but saw Perth Glory had clean possession, so he's decided not to whistle. And the Glory going to look Long for Taggart. The ball pitches and allows the defence to get goal side. Here comes Shamoon. Back to Taggart on a tight angle. And the first time shot, Bosinovski, it's blocked away. Both teams think it's their ball. Auckland are adamant it went out off a Perth Glory player, and indeed, the assistant referee agrees it's a goal kick.
I think it hit Shabelle Shamoon. It was a really good transition by Perth Glory. You'll see it on this replay. Taggart holds it up. It is indeed Shamoon who gets in the way. But gee, what a defensive header that was by Brian Kaltak down the other end. It was a great ball in from Lockie Brook. Had real whip and bend and pace on it. Brian Kaltak was almost starting from a flat-footed position, but he still won the header under immense pressure to set that transition in motion. Brilliant defensive work.
Cosgrove between two defenders and now first to respond at ground level. Estrada legged, free kick in a dangerous position. Freeney gives away the set-piece opportunity. With 5 minutes of regulation until half-time, there has been a step up in the tempo of the game. So here's another look at the header from Kaltak.
Oh, that's brilliant. That is really strong defending by Kaltak. And we know he's such an athlete, isn't he? And when he puts his body on the line like that, almost from a standing start, against a couple of strikers who are bearing in on him. They're the big moments that big players win.
So could a direct shot be coming from this acute angle? 3 in the wall for goalkeeper Matt Sutton. Francis de Vries is the left-footed taker. Jesse Randall keeping him company for now. It's all about de Vries. A drifting cross, and who else but Kaltak rises to the defensive header. Second time ball on the way, Gallegos, and this time Wooden. The edge of the area of Estrada, no power behind the volley, and the Glory raffle it amongst a lot of defenders to clear away. Randall. A little darting step, so good from Randall! Oh, what a goal! Jesse Randall! And on the other side of the world in Scotland, they'll be watching saying, how good was that from Jesse Randall? And in living rooms around Auckland, there might be a few people being awoken by the gasps as they take a 1-0 lead away to the Glory.
What about the afterburners here on the Harvey Norman replay from Jesse Randall? He just puts it around his defender. You can see him summing up the situation. Whoop, there you go. Afterburners are on, and then he gets an eye for goal, and he knows exactly where he's putting it. That's a wonderfully assured finish from Randall, and that is exactly why he will be no longer for the A-League after this season. He is absolutely electric in those situations, and he knows his way to goal as well. Brilliant finish.
And look at that, he joins the huge number of players on 6 goals, and he's now just 1 goal away from a share of the Golden Boot. Not bad for a winger. 9th career A-League goal in just 35 games for the 23-year-old. And Auckland, they bided their time. It wasn't that long ago that they had 0.00 XG. Well, the tally won't be a great deal higher because that had a very high degree of difficulty, and they find the opening goal.
Out of nothing, and that's the thing with Jesse Randall. He can create things when nothing looks like it's on. He just sized up the situation, thought, well, there's nothing on for anyone else, so I'm just going to make something happen myself.
Brook is going to let Glory off the hook here with a free kick.
The turn of speed he showed as we see a replay of that foul given away by Lockie Brook to leave Will Freeney in his wake. It was frightening from Jesse Randall. He still doesn't look happy on that ankle, does he, Teo? Rocky Sakai.
I wonder, with a goal in pocket, will he reappear for the second half? Of course, it's worth mentioning that that is the first away goal in this head-to-head. Neither away team scored in the 2 meetings last season. It was 1-0 to the home side in both of them. But Auckland have struck first. Now as we tick towards half-time, they want more. And the shot here from Brook is high over the bar.
Well, I could be wrong, but I think I saw a statistic that when Auckland take the lead, they've only lost once this season. I'll have to double check that one.
Here's the live ladder. So Newcastle winners earlier today, as were Sydney. MacArthur held to a draw on Friday night against Adelaide, no less. And this means that Auckland would be going top of the pile. Gee, it's a good league this season, though, with keeping everyone guessing. Of course, we've still got the second half here to come, and we did make mention of what an attacking bench the Glory have. So as the night wears on, there'll be no shortage of eager attackers and attacking midfielders wanting to come on and take a run at this game. Right now, the Glory's priority, perhaps, though, is getting through the 4 additional minutes to end the first half without conceding again. Quite the chunk of stoppage. Here's Kaltak. His pass, knocked down by Vestrada. Gallegos feeds it out to Mai. Guillermo Mai twists on a cross and can only find Kaltak. Here's Goodwood Reich. Vestrada. Gallegos. And Mai. And Lawrence has done very nicely to win the ball off him. Can Glory change their fortunes in first half stoppage? Lawrence. Oh, balloons a pass over the head of Pennington, and unfortunately for Perth, there was no Sam Sutton bombing forward down the left side. Here's another look at the goal, though.
Yeah, just brilliant from Jesse Randall. That turn of speed in a tight area. He had to get his touch right first and then chase his own pass or his own touch. And then there was only one thing on his mind once he got round his defender. And dispatched it brilliantly past Sutton. So I've just checked my statistics. 11 times Auckland have gone ahead. They've won 7 of them, drawn 3, and only lost once.
So that is good reassurance for them. To be fair, they look like the aggressors to go and make it 2, more so than Glory grabbing an equaliser before the half-time whistle here, though. And you see, they've done so with 0.16 XG, but let's not go crazy about Glory's 0.37. They have had precious little to hang their hat on in the first half as well.
While we're pulling the statistics out, Perth Glory, when conceding first, have done so on 7 occasions and only won once and lost 6. So if you believe in statistics, they're all in Auckland's favour.
Yeah, the trend is their friend, Mossy, safe to say. Shamoon straight onto the head of De Vries. Shamoon again. Taggart. Able to nick around Hall. The cutback. Great defending Sakai. Lawrence. And now Goodwood Reich's turn to make a big block. Every defender taking their turn here for Auckland in the first half.
Well, if you wanted the ball at anyone's feet in those areas, it would be Taggart and Lawrence. And they both had an opportunity, but in the end there was just too many Auckland bodies around. They got their way in. They got in the way of the strikes and defended the situation very well.
And then at the end of it all, Lawrence went and fouled Vestrada. Well, they did have a couple of big chances to end the first half with a bang. Not taken. Now, as we take a look here, Mossy.
Well, there's the first one, well defended, and Lawrence gets on the ball there and he gets his strike away. But again, just too many white shirts around. They defended their box well.
As we saw earlier tonight, if you did watch the Sydney Derby, one of the Tiago Quintal goals took not one but two deflections through the penalty area to leave his keeper, Lawrence Thomas, stranded. On that occasion, Jake Girdwood-Reich got the body position spot on and preserved a clean sheet to the halftime break. Jesse Randall coming up with his 6th goal of the season. He is now one off the lead in the Isuzu UTE A-League Golden Boot, and it is the first away goal in this head-to-head between Perth and Auckland, and the difference at half-time. Perth Glory 0, Auckland FC 1. Stay with us, plenty more A-League chat on the other side of the break, and also we'll take a look ahead to the AFC Women's Asian Cup.
Welcome back to the Hungry Jacks halftime show. I'm joined by Andy Harper and former Matilda Grace Gill. Let's take stock of 2025 for the Matildas. Now, Player of the Year, I guess a more open year because Sam Kerr and Mary Fowler, the two superstars of the team, were out with injuries for large parts of it. So who is your standout for 2025, Grace?
For me, I find it pretty hard to go past Ellie Carpenter and what she's achieved, not just for the Matildas, but in club as well. The move from Lyon, I think, was a really important one for her professional development, and she has hit the ground running at Chelsea. She's playing really well, she's contributing to goals, and she's transferring that form into the Matildas. I think she's been one of the most consistent performers for the national team across the last 12 months. I think every time we see Ellie Carpenter line up for the Matildas, she provides something, whether it's getting down that right-hand side. She's got this real gritty energy about her, which she will take through for the rest of her career. I do want to give a special mention as well to Amy Sayer, who I think has been a standout. And had we had this conversation 12, 18 months ago around a lock for the Asian Cup, I don't think Amy Sayer necessarily would have marked her name there, but I think she has done so much in the last 12 months to really establish herself in this team. So she's a special mention for me as well.
Well, a lot of people to mention because they're all special players and a lot of them doing very well. And it's hard to go past, actually, Ellie, but I'm going to for the sake of the discussion. And actually because I feel strongly about what Steph Catley has achieved. You know, there's not many Australian athletes, not many, who emerge out of the local scene to captain one of the big sports brands on the planet in whatever sport. It happens from time to time, but it's still rare. And that's what Steph has achieved. Look, I'm not sure if it's an oxymoron to say she's one of two unicorns, because by definition they're unique things, but she doesn't get injured. I don't know that she's had these severe career-threatening injuries to date, touch wood, and Caitlin Ford's the other unicorn. I mean, they're bomb-proof, these two, evidently. Now, that's my special mention for Caitlin, who's just carried such a load for the team. But in this discussion, acknowledging Ellie and some of the youngsters coming through, very happy for Amy's progress, winning Heatley, etc. But it's Steph Catley, you know, to be captaining one of the world's sports brands, if you can commodify the language like that, to win the Champions League, to have done it with a positional shift, ostensibly a left fullback, and has seamlessly moved into now, by evidence, one of the great centre halves on the planet in women's football. And to help justify my selection, she's the highest ranked female, Australian female in the Guardian top 100. That wasn't my defining point, but I just, you know, they're a great group. They're achieving fantastic things. I will say about Ellie, there's a maturation evident in her game since the move to London, which I think's been fantastic, starting from a high base. But Steph's the one for me.
Both wonderful nominations, and I guess, Steph, from a leadership point of view, with Sam Kerr not there, she's stepped up in a wonderful manner, hasn't she?
She's been excellent, and I really admire Steph for that. She's such a steady head, whether it's on the field, talking to media, leading by example. I think it's a really good shout, Harps. It's hard to disagree with that as well.
Ellie Carpenter and Steph Catley are nominations for Matilda of the Year for 2025, and they go on show in a massive way, of course, at the home Asian Cup. We cannot wait for it, starting on March 1. I'm sure everyone will be cheering on. Of course, our Matildas in this massive competition. Hopefully they bring the trophy home. Let's get back out to the ground for all the highlights from the first half.
So, Australia versus the Philippines, Sunday the 1st of March, and you can watch that game and the entire AFC Asian Women's Cup on Paramount+. All right, let's get into the Harvey Norman highlights. Phil Moss, we have a great highlight from the first half, and it's the only goal of the game. Jesse Randall for Auckland FC.
Well, the highlights were few and far between in the attacking third, but this is sensational. Look at that. Jesse Randall looks up. He's got Will Freeney in front of him, and he thinks, I'll just touch it around him and go and put the afterburners on, and he does that, and then he just sees the far post gaping, and he slots it past Matt Sutton in the Perth goal for the go-ahead and only goal of the first half, but a goal worthy of putting any team in the lead. And of course all the Dundee fans in Scotland will be going absolutely stir-crazy over that goal.
So that is his 6th of the campaign, and the difference between the two sides. Let's now get the thoughts of former Socceroo Jacob Burns. Burnsy, your observations.
Yeah, as we mentioned through the first half highlights there, it's been a cagey affair. I don't know if it's the conditions down here or both teams looking at the table and where it might put them this result tonight. It's kind of been a game that's been void of a bit of composure in the middle of the park, or someone really taking the reins and really starting to dictate the play. We'd like to see a little bit more probably from Glory in there and capitalising on their chances. We mentioned that Griffo wanted a little bit more composure when they did transition into attack. But what I'm interested in seeing as this game stretches out, there's a lot of firepower on both benches that are real game changers. The likes of Jake Brimmer, but also Lockie Wales is back from injury. You've got Despotowski to come on, so I'm looking forward to an exciting second half.
So are we. Thank you, Jacob Burns. Now let's take a look at some of the work at the other end. Brian Kaltak has been I would say at his best tonight, Mossy. Like, he's really had to get some really sticky situations under control for the Glory.
Yeah, well, I think it took Brian probably 4 or 5 rounds of the season to find his feet in the Perth Glory shirt, but since then he's been outstanding, and that high bar that he sets has been there for all to see tonight. He's just so strong defensively, reads the game well, and he's very comfortable on the ball.
So, Glory, they're going to be attacking towards their fans in the second half. They just need something to get them excited, though, don't they?
Well, I think Ollie Sale standing in front of them will get them excited, because he's probably in for a bit of stick in this second half. But, yeah, they definitely do. Perth Glory need to, as Burnsy just said, take more control of the game in midfield. They've caused Auckland a couple of half problems when they've gone long and they've gone more direct, because Auckland obviously hold those 2 compact lines in their block. So when Perth have gone more direct up to Taggart and Lawrence, they've caused them some problems. So maybe that's going to be a bit of a ploy more regularly in the second half.
So that was our Hungry Jacks half-time show. And of course, Paramount Plus is your home for football, and there is so much coming up that you can sink your teeth into in the very near future. There's the UFC, throw that in as well, 9 a.m. It's not going to overlap with any of the A-League action coming up in the afternoon. Central Coast Mariners against the Melbourne Victory, and then a little bit of the Coppa Italia. The quarterfinals continue. You can see Inter versus Torino and Atalanta versus Juventus. So those fans are keen to see more goals, and the Glory will be hoping that they can get into gear in the second half. That's coming up on the other side of this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back to live pictures from HBF Park. Perth Glory first back out onto the pitch. Auckland FC about to join them. And it's Auckland who have a 1-0 lead at half-time, thanks to a goal from Jesse Randall. There is the goal scorer, his 6th of the season. Perth Glory have made a half-time substitution. Stefan Kolikovski, who made his Perth Glory return last game, is now on for his 2nd appearance of the season. And there was a forced change in the first half. Nando Parnica going off injured for Jake Girdwood-Reich. And he will start the second half at the centre of defence. So that's now 1 sub each for both teams. Referees still yet to have the ball placed down. So, Moxie, what do you make of that change for the Glory? Trent Osler, the player, coming off, and Stefan Kolikovski coming on.
Yeah, we didn't see much of Osler in that first half, so not surprised it was a little quiet from him. And Kolikovski, as we know, on his day can be quite rapid. So no doubt Adam Griffiths will be looking to inject just a little bit of firepower, a little bit more intensity into the performance in this second half.
There's a lost child out on the pitch here. Yeah, take the ball. And our little Lego fellow, are the wheels working? I think everyone's been struggling to get up to speed in this game. All right, Perth are ready to take kick-off. And Stefan Kolikovski says, get out of here, I'm the only half-time sub. Ready to impact the game? So, can the Glory get some joy attacking towards their fans in the shed in the second half? They trail 1-0. And back underway at HBF Park in this Isuzu UTE A-League Men's Round 15 game. Perth Glory trailing 1-0 against Auckland FC. And so, Phil Moss, we've seen one change. We have flagged that the likes of Kaczarski, Wales, Despotovski could all be in the offing in this second half. So, how long do you think Adam Griffiths gives this second half 11 before more changes are on the way?
Well, I wouldn't imagine he'll give it that long, maybe the usual 10 to 15 minutes. If he doesn't see a change in what he's looking for, and he addressed at half-time, then I'm sure he will go to that bench because, as you quite rightly said, and Burnsy mentioned it at half-time, there is some real firepower there.
Meanwhile, Gallegos linking up with Cosgrove, Verstrata. Gallegos outpointed by Pennington, but Verstrata is so hard to get past in midfield, and again blocks the ball here. Thrown down the sideline, headed by Girdwood-Reich. Mai. De Vries. It's Verstrata in midfield. He's able to shrug Tom Lawrence, but the ball's not advancing. Gallegos had it stuck between his feet. High hopeful ball, which Kaltak heads down. Freeney. Bozanovski. Adam Griffiths watching on from the sideline. As Shamoon takes possession for the Glory, and he was collected after playing the pass to Taggart. And so the attack broke down. Glory have a wide free kick.
Yeah, in a decent area as well. Noticed Adam Griffiths has gone sans the jacket in the second half. He had that on the first half, and no doubt as we see the replay of that foul from De Vries, no doubt he'll be looking for his players to roll their sleeves up as well and really get stuck in this second half, not die wondering.
First yellow card of the game has been shown to Francis De Vries, so he'll have to be careful now from this point forward. Shamoon getting his return run for the 1-2 there with Taggart blocked. So a set-piece opportunity for the Glory early in the half, and you can just see the net billowing there, so the wind is picking up, favouring the end that the Glory are attacking. Tom Lawrence with a stutter step run up. Pennington with the header, and it's a looping high ball over the bar, harmless in the end to Ollie Sale's goal.
Yeah, it was a tough one to get over and get any real power on for Pennington. As you said, that breeze looked like it just picked up just before the delivery.
So much anticipated first goal kick of Ollie Sale in front of the shed. Let's just take a moment to let the crowd do the talking. They're having fun.
It never gets old.
Look at the smiles in the crowd. They love it.
Well, I remember making my NSL debut at this very ground against Perth Glory, and that chant, back then there was about 20,000 there. Massive game, Northern Spirit against Perth Glory. And it was, let's just say, it drove a lot of intensity out on the pitch. It was fantastic.
Glory are hoping to harness it, but they won't make any progress here. Hiroki Sakai is seemingly unencumbered by a little right ankle flag that we noticed in the first half, and again he leans down to his right leg, but he seems to want to persist through this here. But it really is something to watch as the second half wears on. Right now, though, he's heavily involved in play. Cosgrove with a flick header. Mai up and under. Cosgrove with real energy through the neck muscles, but can't twist it towards a teammate. Now Glory ball.
We've really hardly seen Cosgrove tonight. Mai has been involved because he's been dropping off that front line. Letting Cosgrove work the front line, or lead the line, I should say. Really, the performance tonight for Auckland hasn't really brought Cosgrove into the game much.
Here goes Pennington. Pick out Dan Hall. And Mai, well, the loose touch gives possession away. Shamoon has already drawn one free kick and card in this half. He's got Gallegos following his every step. Pennington, nutmeg on Brook. Back to Caltac. Tom Lawrence. He's getting a lot of Pennington, and that will run off the surface out for a goal kick. So we did see that back pass from Trent Ostler in the first half, which really accelerated off the surface, and now we've also seen at times a billowing wind, and you see again the goal net there. The Glory do have the wind at their backs, but not so significant that it's going to have Auckland pinned back on their defensive half. Ollie Sale, though, he's waved everyone out. And this is going to just get into the attacking half. Wooden crashes through with a big header, and that will be an Auckland throw-in. Sakai taking plenty of time. Bozanovski. Freeney. Glory's instincts are to head backwards rather than forwards. And again, the presence of Louis Vestrada makes it so difficult to find a gap in that midfield. But Kolakovski presents for the ball. And then who's on his case? Vestrada immediately. Lawrence. Sam Sutton trying to accelerate, hurdles through two challenges, and then had to go chasing after his own touch. And he's scythed down Dan Hall as a result.
Well, Sam Sutton had done so well to show quick feet to get away from a few would-be tacklers, and then he turns it into a touch tackle situation there. His last touch just gets away from him. Dan Hall reads the situation well and knows that he can win the ball. Sutton goes through him for Hall to win the free kick and take the pressure off his side. You just sense the crowd here at HBF Park just starting to get a little bit frustrated, trying to get behind their side in the same breath.
Good right. Freeney. Up and underheaded from Taggart. And ball rears up off the surface. Taggart show of strength against Hall, but Sakai deflected the ball. It's held to Skelter at the moment. Freeney, Taggart just wheeling himself forward. Dan Hall says, don't go past. Here's Bozanovski. Licked off his toes as well. And Bozanovski, frustrated at giving up the ball, goes and commits a foul.
Just all too tight, isn't it? They need to try and get their foot on the ball and come out of there. And Sakai grimacing once again, holding an ankle. It's the same ankle he's been struggling with. You see him just clip late there. Bozanovski. It seems like he's been limping for all 53 minutes almost. I'm sure if he was concerned, or the medical staff were, that he'd be off the pitch by now.
Here's Cosgrove. Randall, the goal scorer. Sakai, see a very exaggerated grab of the shirt there, but the referee let it slide. Bozanovski. Now DeVries. So you were the stat man in the first half. So we see a free kick here. Strata goes to ground. Here's the free kick, but you mentioned that Sam Cosgrove has been a little bit quiet tonight. Let me take you back to 2021. Morecambe versus Shrewsbury Town. Sam Cosgrove was subbed on for Shrewsbury. Scott Wooden was subbed on for Morecambe. And it was the Shroopers who won 2-0. So there you go. Scott Wooden, he's only ever played against Sam Cosgrove once in his career 5 years ago, and he was able to keep him off the score sheet.
Fantastic. That's history.
Well, maybe the game could come to life, Mossy. Let's not work through the stats.
I thought you were going to tell me Cosgrove scored both the goals that night.
No, not the case. Of course, he has been a workhorse, though, and there's not much indicated that his role isn't necessary. I mean, you wouldn't sub him out. He's going to play a very important role with the dashes, the wingers in Brook and Randall playing off him. Case in point, he goes up and wins the header here once, twice. And there is his shadow in Wooten, who clears the ball away. Now Guillermo Mai looking for Randall in the middle. And just enough done by Sutton. The ball runs out.
Yeah, he had to stay strong, Sutton, because he had Jesse Randall breathing down his neck, just waiting for a slip-up in concentration. But you're right, Cosgrove still plays a role, even if he's not on the ball, just leading the line, occupying defenders, allowing Guillermo Mai to drift off the front line, pick the ball up in midfield, bring the likes of Jesse Randall, Lockie Brook into the game. Sometimes it's a thankless task being a big target man.
Sakai, his turn for a long throw. Cosgrove, the flick header, but it's all glory at the fall. Freeney. Kolikovski able to get a throw-in going Glory's way. Just a significant chunk of time rehabbing an ACL. Stefan Kolikovski's 25 now, his 78th league appearance tonight, and his second stint back at the Glory. Bozanovski going backwards here. Kaltak. Lots of distance off the header, and Dan Hall in a wrestle, and Adam Taggart was coming back from an offside position, so the flag goes up. Barely one roll of the ball inside Perth Glory's attacking half.
I wonder if we can get some insights from Jacob Burns in the next couple of minutes, just about the temperature on both benches. Is there frustration? Is there encouragement? Are they happy with what they're seeing?
Long ball here. And Sutton drawn out of his area, but it's a good header. Forceful header, and it finds Bozanovski. Vestrada immediately on his case, though. Brook turning into a 1-on-2. And Gallegos is back up. And skipping down the right side. Randall into the path of Cosgrove. He's got numbers in the middle here. Cosgrove, the cut back, and it sits up for Pennington to sweep the ball away. That was promising for Auckland, but they couldn't execute in the key moment. Now the whistle goes. So as this setup takes place, further to your point, let's throw it back down to Jacob Burns. Jacob, more subs on the way, and what are you hearing being shouted from the technical areas?
Yeah, look, it looks like Kaczarski and Giovanni are coming on, and it's exactly what we talked about at half-time. It's really what the game needs. Needs some X-factor players to get in there, get their foot on the ball, but more importantly, a bit of an X-factor, making things open up, which we know that Kaczarski has. Bimby will be very aware, obviously, him being a Sydney boy.
Here's Kolikovski with a shot, saved by Sale, and the flag goes up. So instead of a shot on target, it is only an offside. So hearts set racing, but unfortunately for Ollie Sale, that save won't go on his stats because it was offside.
And Burnsy, are you hearing any messages tactically from either bench as we see Perth Glory go for those two subs you mentioned?
Certainly from Auckland, and they obviously want to hold on to this win. They want their distance between the lines. They've got a lot of experience through the back, and they want to make sure they're not giving anything away. But on the opposite end here with Griff, you know, he wants to get some more attacking players on to start to create and combine and get, like you've just seen with Kolikovski, a sub at half-time, some more opportunities on goal to test Sale.
Thank you, Jacob. And you see there the offside call. Chen Vinathan over on the outer side. Raising the flag, Giovanni De Abreu has come on for Reece Bozanovski. Nicholas Pennington has made way for Jaden Kucharski. So a very different kind of attacker. Pennington playing in a more advanced role tonight. Not much joy for him. Kucharski comes into the game. 23-year-old attacker. His 70th A-League appearance as we see that shot hooked wide. Of course, he has such happy memories of the Sydney Derby where he scored that amazing match-winning goal. So he'd be happy that once again Sydney was sky blue earlier this evening. Right now, though, his responsibility is on finding his first goal since round 1 back in October. And it came against the other New Zealand team in the league against Wellington. So maybe he is the answer. De Abreu, fresh pair of legs to go and do some midfield grunt work, having come on for Bozanovski here. That pass will not be to Glory's advantage, though.
Yeah, I think we've seen many times in a Sydney FC shirt Jaden Kucharski be the super sub. That's exactly what Adam Griffiths will be hoping for tonight. Fresh legs in that area. As Kucharski can play on the front line, he can play in a wide area, play outside to in. And of course, Diabru just giving those fresh legs in midfield. You didn't see a lot of Bozanovski tonight. Quiet performance by his standards.
They need someone that can actually advance the ball past Louis Vestrada. He is intercepting, closing passing channels, and often many teams just start avoiding him on the pitch, but tonight the Glory have almost played into the traps that Auckland have been setting so he can win the ball back. Here's Kaltak at the set piece, harmlessly out for a goal kick. Any thoughts on that, Mossy? Because Vestrada, every time the Glory try to get something going, it appears as though he's either there or he's one step away or one player away from being there, helping out someone else.
Yeah, it's why he's so critical to the Auckland FC midfield. He just reads the game so well. His speed of thought gives him an extra yard of pace to be where he needs to be before the situation arises. But you're right, I think Perth's opportunities are in transition. They just need to move the ball quicker in transition to attack. And if they are in build-up at the back, really what's caused Auckland the problems tonight is when they go long and direct up to Taggart and get players running off him.
Here is Vestrada on the ball now, and a shallow return ball. Kolikovski immediately confronted by Dan Hall. Freeze blocked. Kucharski, first involvement off the bench for him. Freeney. Kaltak holding court here, but which pass is the right option? Eventually he's hurried into a ball out to the right, which Kucharski will hair after. Don't forget De Vries is on a card. The cutback, Lawrence, saved by Sale. Taggart, blocked. Shot it right into a cluster of Auckland defenders. Shamoon. And now Kucharski, a flat cross, which is headed away by Sakai. De Abreu, Sam Sutton.
Well, that was a case in point.
Sam Sutton with the cutback here and cleared away.
Yeah, the case in point, Brian Kaltak looking to thread a pass into midfield. In the end, he goes long and direct over the top for Kaczarski. It was a really good forward run by the substitute. And then he almost picked his pass perfectly to get Perth back on the score sheet and back in this game.
Faces, new ideas and a bit of new energy for the Glory. Lawrence, Kolakovsky, and he just ran a little wide. Dan Hall ran straight at the ball.
This is bringing the crowd to life again now. Perth Glory starting to make some inroads. Auckland still defending stoically.
So Tom Lawrence with the corner, and the referee again blows the whistle and says hold off on the corner. Scott Wooden, and look at that, Kaltak and Dan Hall. Bit of Fiji versus Vanuatu. Is that friendly or unfriendly? It's become unfriendly a little bit quickly. They were wrestling each other with smiles on their faces, and then smiles turned serious.
Brilliant, some gamesmanship between the two of them. It was all fun and games until it wasn't fun and games.
How bizarre. Anyway, they haven't left each other alone. Kaltak is saying, my shadow is holding me back here. Will Sean Evans be eagle-eyed at this set piece? Here comes the corner from Lawrence. Into the near post and headed away. Combination of Cosgrove and Gallegos, and that ball was beyond the line, and so it will be a corner and not a throw-in. Repeat corners coming up for Perth.
He just loves it, Cosgrove, doesn't he? Anything that he can attack in the air.
Lawrence's corner to the back post. What a chance. Adam Taggart puts it over the bar. Had the header and could not keep it down.
Oh, and you can see the look on his face. Everyone blocks everyone, and then all of a sudden Taggart's just free at the back post. It was a standing start. He gets rid of his defender in Louis Vestrata, and then he just can't get over the ball. You can see the reaction from the shed. Agonisingly close, and that's exactly who you want on the end of those chances.
Well, each replay showed us an angle that will make any Glory fans' hearts sink. Would have been the record for Adam Taggart in the A-League era as the club's top scorer, and crucially it would have been an equaliser, and we've got an injury. Ollie Sale is down holding his knee.
That didn't look good. That did not look good at all.
Oh dear. And while it has been fun and games, and we've highlighted the banter with the shed, this has turned serious on club debut here for the Auckland keeper.
Looked as though it was his standing foot that just gave way, and then he clutched the back of his knee as he went down. They're not great signs. There it is there. Oh, I don't think this is going to be good.
Well, I mean, his foot rolls under itself, and then that pressure goes through the knee. I think they're calling for the stretcher to carry him off. So Michael vowed his penance is going to come out at about 66 minutes. Having been benched tonight, the goalkeeper that started the season as Auckland's #1 is going to be called on here in really unfortunate circumstances for his deputy, Ollie Sale, and we can only hope that this is not a serious knee injury.
We'll have to cross everything, because the early signs did not look good, just the way he went down and clutched at the knee straight away. It's never a good sign, and we wish Ollie all the very best for an injury maybe not as serious as what it looks.
You see there, it's going to be not just a goalkeeper swap, but outfielders as well. Logan Rogerson has taken the substitute's bib off. So Steve Corica, just over 20 minutes of regulation to go, and there will be quite a decent chunk of stoppage time as a result of this break. These are really unfortunate scenes. Of course, the Auckland goalkeeping room also has 21-year-old Joseph Knowles, who's yet to make his A-Leagues debut. He's played in both Australia and New Zealand, National League level for Eastern Suburbs, and also the Miramar Rangers, but also had a brief stint in Australia as well with St George City.
Good touch from the shed, clapping Ollie Sale off. I mean, of course, next goalkeeper of the club. There's a lot of banter between the 45th minute and the 68th. Good to see fans showing the respect to clap him off as he's carried off on a stretcher. Very classy.
And so here comes Michael Woud, 27-year-old with 4 clean sheets to his name this season, benched tonight, comes on. So what's going through his head? It's the life of a goalkeeper. You often have to wipe the slate clean, both in the immediate short term and over the course of your career.
Yeah, well, he's just got to prove that he deserves his spot and put last week what happened behind him, move on like all goalkeepers, good goalkeepers do when they make a mistake. You can have no argument really having been dropped. Now he gets his chance to make amends.
And Guillermo Mai is the player who has made way here for Logan Rogerson. So that's 3 changes now for Auckland FC. Their remaining players available: Cam Howison, Callan Elliott, Jake Brimmer, and also Jonty Bidwar. The other 4 players unused subs so far tonight. So a significant break, best part of 3 minutes there, so that'll all be tacked on at the end of the game. And it's a very different game now after a forced goalkeeper switch. Perth Glory having just had their best chance to score of the entire game, with Adam Taggart heading over at close range from a corner kick, and we're going to see a free kick here at the edge of the box.
I'm just watching Hiroki Sakai. He still didn't look comfortable when he had to retreat to win that initial header. It doesn't look like he's moving freely to me, but this is a free kick in a good area for Perth.
Direct shot from Tom Lawrence, even on this acute angle.
I'd imagine so. They've got the wind in their back.
What a situation for Michael Woud straight off the bench. He wants 2 in the wall. The wind has picked up. And Tom Lawrence stands over the set piece. Eager Perth players ready to follow in. Big defensive stand here for the Auckland clean sheet. Lawrence. Oh, went for the knuckle ball, but it already started too wide, so when it swung away, it swung even further away from the target.
I'm surprised he didn't put a couple of Perth Glory players on the end of that wall, just to make the wall a bit bigger and give him a bigger target, and then they duck out the way if he's going to knuckleball it. In the end, it was always going too wide. There was a chance to get something on target just to test Michael Woud. He's only just come off the bench, still not into the pace of the game. Certainly a let off for Auckland.
Immediately, a shed in his ear as he sails that goal kick out right next to Steve Corica in the technical area. Plenty of distance, but off target. And the throw in here for Taggart. Kolakowski beaten to the ball initially. Girdwood Reich from a prone position. Through comes De Abreu. Taggart, and the cutback nearly turned in for an own goal. Instead, out for Auckland protest, but it is a corner kick.
Well, that stoppage in play may just have swung the momentum in Perth's favour. Just starting to get ahead of steam now. Tighten the screws a little bit on Auckland. 4 corners to 1 in favour of the home team.
The last corner landed on the head of Adam Taggart at the back post. Lawrence near post attack this time, and it swung out. Look at this desperation from Jake Girdwood Reich.
It's fantastic, isn't it? In the end, Adam Taggart didn't quite get the ball he was looking for as Sutton fires up the shed, trying to get the 12th man cranked.
Will Taggart get another chance? It's 2 goal kicks, and both of them have been hooked out Glory keen to go. And it's going to draw the ire of the home fans, though. Taggart knocks over Sakai. See, the wind has picked up again. I'm not sure that's necessarily a factor in cooking his goal kicks out, though.
I think Stevie just mentioned to Jonathan Gould, can you tell the goalkeeper that I don't play anymore?
Well, now another misdirected dead ball. Kucharski. Girdwood Reich went to ground but fashioned a pass. Look at the XG. That Taggart chance must have been high because Glory are almost up to 2 XG from open play. Kaldak. In this half, you see the touches in the opponent's penalty area. Territory battle starting to really skew in Glory's favour.
Well, it shows two things, doesn't it? Perth Glory need to make more of those touches in the opposition box, and Auckland are defending their box reasonably well. Abreu sends the ball back to Wooden. Good run from Kucharski. Good touch from Kucharski! Jaden Kucharski brings the Glory level. And are we on for another late night Perth special? Well, the super kid once again becomes the super sub. Jaden Kucharski, what a brilliant first and second touch that is on the Harvey Norman replay. We've said all night that when Perth Glory go direct, they cause Auckland problems. Wooden this time from the back, picks out the run of Kucharski, takes it first time on the thigh, pops it up, and then the desperation, the passion, the desire, the intent is what forces it over the goalkeeper. Michael Vowd into the back of the Auckland net to get his side back on level pegging. Great goal from the sub.
He's been waiting since October, since round 1 for his second goal of the season. Now he has scored at home in front of the fans against both the New Zealand teams in the Isuzu UTE League. 9th career goal in game number 70. And on Sydney Derby night, Jaden Kucharski does score, but he scores 5,000 kilometres away for the Perth Glory. And we have a game well and truly now. And De Abreu doing exactly what you suspect he might have been set on to do, which is disrupt Louis Verstrada.
Yeah, 100%. And the fresh legs are allowing him to make contests out of things that maybe weren't contests earlier in the game.
Is that a yellow card, Mossy?
Probably. It probably is, as the players go to their benches for some drinks breaks.
Well, first-hand view of it all is Jacob Burns. What a response from the Glory. They've got their equaliser. What else are you seeing down there?
Yeah, we called it Kucharski, the danger man. We've been saying it all night, that a direct ball in behind. Just before that, I was about to mention to you guys, and you could see it probably better than me, but how high Auckland's line was and how square they were getting. That was a perfect ball, and Kucharski's been the perfect sub. Interestingly, there in the drinks pack, Griff didn't want it because obviously it's the momentum's with them. He didn't want the break. He said to the fourth official, it's not hot anymore. We don't need the break.
Funnily enough, I was going to ask you about that, Burnsy, because Perth have really got the momentum now, and the drinks breaks just come at the wrong time for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's been talked about throughout the league. I think that, yeah, it really has dropped down here. And, you know, as a head coach, when your team's starting to fly and get some momentum, the last thing you want is a break in play.
Of course, for clarity, it is a FIFA rule, not a league rule, that if you have the cooling break in the first half, you've got to have it in the second. And as we know, FIFA have said 2026 World Cup, every single game, regardless of the temperature, is going to have the cooling break in the first half and the second half.
Cooling break or the ad break?
Well, it's going to be warm in some of the games, that's for sure. And this one is only going to get hotter from here because we've got a big 12 minutes plus stoppage time coming up. Verstrada leaving a felled opponent in his wake. Lockie Brooks still yet to really show us any of his best tonight, but this could be the moment for him. And he went for glory, and it was deflected away. Randall, De Vries. Auckland were happy to contain and consolidate, but now they've got to go and try and score again. Hall. Wrestle with Lawrence. Taggart goes flying over Vestrada. Deobreu with the ball on. Kolikovski lurking. Sakai kept his head. And that looks like a high boot, but with an Auckland player down, the referee has not blown the whistle. They're going to take possession and run. Lockie Brook again. He's come to life here, Brook. Nearly sliding the ball through. Promising run coming from Randall. Vestrada. Now Rogerson, the most recent sub of the outfielders for Auckland. Brook. Goodwood Reich. Here's Gallegos. Oh, just high, just wide. What a bad idea.
Well, there's the challenge in midfield on replay, but really what it did was set Auckland in a decent attacking raid. And that strike from Gallegos and Sutton stretching. Was there ever any doubt, Teo, that Perth would get themselves back in this game to set up a grandstand finish?
I know that he's only 18 years old and he's only early in his career, but Deobreu played 308 minutes before tonight. It's only his 7th appearance and he's only had 3 starts, but he is just an absolute weapon in that midfield. Here's a long ball. Kucharski almost trying to replicate his first goal of the night. See the effect that the equalisers had on the ladder here. Newcastle are back top of the league as a result, so that's why Auckland are not going to settle for a point on the road just yet. The rewards are right there for the taking with 10 minutes of regulation to go. Gallegos. Brook. Pickpocketed by Kolikovski. Sam Sutton. Only as far as Goodwood Reich. Randall. He's able to turn and face. A little bit of space afforded to him. A long way from the goal he's attacking. De Vries hooks the cross. Kaltak heads away. Brook able to keep possession. Gallegos. Lockie Brook, he's had so many touches in the last 5 minutes. He's trying to stamp himself on the game by any means necessary. Here's Cosgrove. Chasing towards the byline, cuts it back. De Vries in the pocket on his right foot. And he puts it between the eyes of Matt Sutton, who holds the save.
And watched it all the way into the palms of his hands. Did Matt Sutton. Vestrada just didn't get the power behind it on his probably non-preferred right foot.
Now Glory's turn to attack. Lawrence, Taggart, block tackle from De Vries, a good one. Taggart appeals. Of course, De Vries is on a yellow card from the first half, and he's the one who's come off worse for wear out of the collision.
Yeah, that was heavy contact between De Vries and Taggart. Bodies on the line, as you'd expect. Here's a strike from De Vries up the other end just a couple of moments earlier. There's the contact. It's quite heavy. To be fair, Adam Taggart may have an argument that it was just a 50-50.
Still grumbling about the decision as Sean Evans runs past. I think the most experienced A-League ref hasn't seen before, though. Wow, long high ball. Cosgrove rises to the header. Doesn't break kindly, though, for Randall. Shamoon back to Sutton. Takes a touch and really dicing with danger there. And the corner goes Freeney. Out to Shamoon. Kucharski, scorer of Perth's equaliser. Through comes Kaltak. Roosts it long. And Goodwood Reich with a header that his goalkeeper can field. Sakai picks out Brook. Brook skips it onto himself. And a tackle from Kucharski will give Auckland a free kick. Lockie Brook, who quickly into that tackle there. does have happy memories of coming west. He once scored 5 goals in an Australia Cup tie against Florian Athena when he was playing at the Wanderers. So he's a good traveller. He's had to come west and score a goal. And he's been a good road player for Auckland this season. Goals away to Melbourne City, away to Brisbane Roar, away to Macarthur and away to Wanderers. And really loom large here on the end of this set piece. So that's the picture for Glory as they defend this Auckland free kick. De Vries to the penalty spot. Wooden, perfect position to head it away. Brook runs it down, driving it diagonally across the pitch. Randall wins the header. Sakai had stayed forward from the set piece. Jesse Randall lifts it across. Gerdeman Reich over his head at the fall of the ball. Auckland have got numbers. Sakai and now Rogerson wide, and even though there was a man on the post, Sam Sutton didn't need to get a touch. It's a goal kick.
Oh, he had to hit the target, Rogerson, didn't he? That was real pressure on the Perth Glory defence. They had plenty of bodies there to defend it. That's a good little clip to the back post. Rogerson has to hit the target. Just has to. Perth Glory with about 3 or 4 goalkeepers on the line. In the end, the header was off target.
Well, this is the finish we wanted. Both teams going for it. Neither happy with a draw. Auckland is the away team at the equivalent of 1:30 a.m. on the body clock. Still full of life and energy. They're about to make a double change as they continue their pursuit of a potential match-winning goal. Here's Gallegos. Brook on his right side. De Vries, Randall or Cosgrove, they couldn't sort it out between the two of them. They both stood off. And now Kolakovsky, well, 2 players running to each other again from Auckland, but this time with a free kick, which is taken quickly. Rogerson, the little step over. He'll get a second chance. Brook, does he turn onto his left? Indeed he does, but he bends that comfortably onto the chest of Grant Sutton.
I'm not sure he meant to go for the shot there, Lockie Brook, because he had 3 runners in the box to hit. As we see some heavy contact there, Cosgrove, Kolakovsky involved. Referee Sean Evans, I think he played a quick advantage rather than a quick free kick, but nonetheless he let the game flow, which is great. Strap in. 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes of normal time. I think we're going to have a decent stretch of injury time.
Rogerson here striding forward. Put the ball into the space of Cosgrove, and he's scythed down by Freeney. Yellow card out of the pocket and red alert for the Glory defence here. This is going to be a huge defensive stand and a great opportunity for Auckland.
Yeah, very central, but Cosgrove's done so well there to get to the ball first and draw the foul. As we'll see Auckland going to the bench again.
Jesse Randall's number is up, so he's going to be coming off for Jonty Bidwar, and also Felipe Gallegos will be replaced here by Cam Howison. So as Auckland go for it, 2 subs, fresh legs. Howison, first minute since the 9th of January, so he'll be fresh, and on comes Bidwar. He's only played 53 minutes this season. Hasn't played since the 1st of January, so a couple of minutes for the 21-year-old here. Just his 7th A-League appearance. It's given Matt Sutton plenty of time to sort out his defensive wall. They've got the sleeper, which is Sam Sutton, who's going to lie behind the wall here. Confirmation of the Freeney yellow card. 4 in the wall, and another 2-man wall a little bit further across. So all in readiness. Lockie Brook. Is this his moment to put Auckland back in front? It's Brook, and it's over the bar. And all of those walls and all of that setup was enough to force him to go a little too high.
And though if he could have his time again, Lockie Brook, really disappointed with his effort there. He went for a fair bit of power. rather than placement. I mean, I'm sure placement was in his mind, but I think he just tried to work the ball too much. In the end, he just got right under it and really caused Sutton no problems whatsoever.
Through comes Sakai, showing no issues on that ankle as he leaps into the header. New man Bidwar plays it out to Brook. Again, he wants his left. Telegraph that he was teeing it up for Vestrada, and so through came De Abreu. Pushes it out to Kolakovsky. Can Perth Glory go end to end? As we tick into the last minute of the 90. Square ball from Kolakovsky. Kucharski! He is dynamite! Jaden Kucharski! He has brought the shed to life at the end of the night! All in celebration for the Glory! They've come from behind to lead 2-1 thanks to Jaden Kucharski.
Just wow. What a strike this is. Kolakovsky down the left-hand side on the Harvey Norman replay. Picks out Kucharski. Look at that. He's got 3 players bearing down on him. He knows exactly what he's going to do. First touch out of his feet, lets it roll across his body, and then he unleashes with a reverse swerve strike that gives Michael Vowd absolutely no chance in the Auckland goal. This super kid, what a super sub. He just keeps on delivering off the pine. He's not going to like that. He wants to be a starter, there's no doubt about it. But gee, does he turn a game.
Well, as you can see there, he's into double-figure goals for his A-League career. 23 years of age. There has been a little bit of speculation about moving to the Ekstraklasa in Poland due to his heritage on his father's side of the family, but he stayed in the A-League, and boy, oh boy, he's had a special night tonight. And wasn't that just incredible in front of the shed and the Glory fans as they take the lead? And now Auckland have 8 minutes of additional time, not to chase a win, but to chase an equaliser.
Throws all those statistics, if they can hold on, or maybe even get another one, all those statistics we talked about in the first half, right out the window. But Kucharski, he just knows his way to goal, doesn't he? He comes on and just consistently changes games.
How about the run of Kolakovsky to pick him out too? Here comes across from De Vries, and it's a corner. Kaltak, yeah, he's not happy that he's conceded a set piece.
Well, I must admit, when Kolakovsky played the ball square to Kucharski, I thought he'd underhit it. As we see the Paramount Plus player index, Kucharski has rocketed to #1.
He's just gone all the way to the top, and why not? But the night is young. We still have a huge chunk of stoppage time still to be played. Can Auckland grab an equaliser here? The game's been so open for the last 10 minutes. If they can equalise, they've got more than enough time to go and try and win it for themselves. Here comes De Vries, out-swinging corner. 2 players pile up. Oh, silly by Lawrence. He pushes his opponent in the head after he went to ground. Anyway, the referee saw nothing untoward. Here's Brook. He doesn't want to cross it in on his right. Finds his left foot instead. Flick header from Girdwood Reich, but there's no one following up. And the goalkeeper wraps his gloves around the ball.
Yeah, just going back to the Kucharski goal, the second goal, I thought Kolakovsky had underhit the pass. And then you see 3 defenders, Auckland defenders, bearing down on Kucharski as he lets the ball roll across his body with that touch. And then he just puts his laces through it. It's a remarkable strike in a tight area. The belief and the technique and the execution, frightening.
Now he's able to win the ball back here off De Vries. The adrenaline's pumping for the Glory. The fans are enjoying it, but can they manage a 2-1 lead to the finish line with Auckland coming at them? Freeney. Over to Wootton. Now Sutton. And he just kicks the ball away. 3 of the additional 8 minutes have ticked by.
Well, the shed went ballistic, and I think I heard some cheers from Newcastle as well. This result, of course, will leave them top of the pops.
De Vries, a sweeping cross over the head of Bidwar. And Scott Wooden's really saw whether it was getting his foot trodden on or whether he's just stepped awkwardly. Wooden is down.
I think there was a little bit of both. There was some contact, and then he was trying to free himself from the contact. I think he may have twisted his ankle. He's a tough competitor. There's Scott Wooden. It'll take plenty to get him off the pitch.
Throws a drink bottle away in anger, so I said the adrenaline's pumping. It's pumping for everyone. Let's have another look at it.
Yeah, it's just clumsy from the Auckland player.
So throw in right side of attack. Sakai's come forward. Can he get the distance? Attempted flick at it from Girdwood Reich. Hooked away by Sam Sutton. Sakai. And now Lawrence just volleys on. No Glory players in their attacking half.
Well, they need to get control of the ball, Perth, and manage these last few minutes rather than just give the ball back to Auckland.
It's a result that would really compress the ladder if Perth can hold on. It would be just 6 points between second and ninth. Wooden showing, well, some ill effects of his little ankle issue a moment ago. Bidwar and Cosgrove and Kaltak. A block and a clearance. And now Kolikovsky can lead a counter-attack. Lawrence is on the move. Taggart in the middle. Kaczarski further afield. And Girdwood Reich did just enough to stop the pass. And now we might get a counter-on-counter here. How many Auckland players can burst the other way? And De Abreu, professional foul. Lockie Brook really takes exception. Well, he's not afraid of a scrap. Giovanni De Abreu, and he did everything necessary there to stop Auckland breaking in the other direction.
Well, he has been the great disruptor, hasn't he? Coming off the bench tonight, Giovanni De Abreu. As we see Brian Kaltak once again, he's just a brick wall, isn't he? Here's the foul, but as De Abreu, he's just upsetting that midfield. You can see the frustration from Brook and Hall.
So Adam Taggart, when his header in the 68th minute went high at a corner kick, a chance that had 0.73 XG on its own. We were wondering, would it be Glory's night? He takes his leave. Zach Lizalewski comes on. Isn't it a different game now? Not even half an hour later. The defender comes on with one job: steer this to the finish line. Quick message for Sam Sutton as he joins the defence. So, yellow card for De Abreu. Here comes the resulting free kick over the head of Cosgrove. Sam Sutton sets himself. Sakai was tunnelled. Free kick. Kolikovsky took his legs out from under him.
We have to say, as we tick in to the last official minute of injury time, it'll be at the referee's discretion. But so far, Adam Griffiths has made just the right calls off the bench tonight. De Abreu and Kaczarski, of course, when he brought them on, Kolikovsky at half-time. They've all added to a second-half performance that's got them in a winning position.
No keeper, but otherwise plenty of numbers forward here for Auckland. Francis De Vries, can he get the delivery right? Into the pack of players, repelled by Wooden. Brook, a drive blocked by the near man, and it's De Abreu again. He is relentless. He might get himself set off here if he's not careful. He gives away a free kick, and he leaves the scene without wasting any time.
Well, he's got to control his adrenaline, because he's very lucky Sean Evans showed a calm head then, because he could have sent him off.
Again, the pack of players is the target, and the ball slides on. Things just breaking Glory's way as stoppage time expires. And the full-time whistle goes. Glory come from behind to win. And the fans will go home happy. Jaden Kaczarski, the hero, a double off the bench. And the match winner, one to savour. And those Perth Glory fans, the revival of this club continues. They close to within touching distance of the top 6. And they compress the ladder for everyone as Auckland FC miss the chance to go top. It was a dramatic night. Auckland lost not one but 2 players to injury. Pinecker and Sale both forced subs. The Gaffers shake hands and there's a smile at full time. Oh, and now the smiles turn to not smiles, so maybe the conversation just lingered a little bit too long. However, it's amicable out there between Rogerson and Caltac, and good to see sportsmanship between these teams. They ended up turning on a great show. And a game that really came to the boil has ended Perth Glory 2, Auckland FC 1. Phil Moss, this game came to life, and Late Night Perth delivers yet another last-minute winner.
Oh, you just can't turn away. You can't turn it off. We love doing these games, Teo, and that's the reason why. Kaczarski coming off the bench made all the difference. I mean, he's made those 2 goals as well. The first one with the ball over